Do you feel like your business is running your life instead of the other way around? I'm Roy Castleman. I built multiple seven-figure companies, worked across continents, and coached high-performing entrepreneurs. But I've also been completely burnt out. At one point, I was barely seeing my daughter, drowning in stress, and one step away from walking away from it all. That's when I made a decision to build a business and a life that works for me. The journey became Elevate 360, a system to help business owners reclaim their time, find their energy again, and get back in control, without sacrificing growth. And this podcast, Power Movers, is where I share real stories behind that shift. Each week you'll hear from entrepreneurs, founders, and leaders who've walked through the fire and come out the other side with clarity, courage, and a system that works. If you're ready to build a business that gives you more life instead of taking it away, you're in the right place. Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are in the world. Today I'm with Rick, and Rick is going to tell us about the book he's written. He's going to tell us about his journey, and we're just going to dig in and have an interesting conversation. Welcome, Rick.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Let's go back to young Rick. Tell us a little bit about your early life, how you got to where you are now. What were the main triggers and things that really made you think, I need to go?
I've always been in the creative space, music, writing, that kind of thing. When I was in my later teens, I was working those things called newspapers. Remember those? That got me into doing some graphic design and some photography, and that touched a nerve with me. So everything I've done is all in the creative space. So that's really where I started and gravitated toward marketing, because that's a gigantic umbrella that covers all the different creative things that I enjoy doing.
And you were working, you were gainfully employed doing that?
Considering I'm self-employed.
No, before you stepped out into self-employment, how did that work?
I did little stints places, like one was the newspaper, and I was in the advertising department. So I was part of the creative team and ventured into it. It was a smaller newspaper. So I ventured into the graphic design stuff and all that kind of thing. That worked fine. And then I did some stint doing sales and not real.
I guess what I'm asking is, when did you realize you were unemployable?
But that is definitely the word. Strangely enough, I realized it almost right away. I tried different stints in between trying to start a business, not real sure which kind of business I was going to do and that sort of thing. So pretty early on, early 20s.
And how long did you fight that for?
I fought being employed or fought being self-employed.
Try to be employed when really
it just didn't sit right with me. And the times that I did, I remember there was a computer company, they sold hardware, and I took the job because I needed something steady and regular. And I was, like you were just saying, I was trying to make it work. And within 2 weeks, I was trying to redesign their logo, and that it didn't sit well with them.
You know what I really love about entrepreneurs?
Oh,
is that, we're a different breed of people, right? We really are.
Yes.
1% of people will start a business this year. 1%. 1% of people will start a business. Throughout their whole lives, there's only 2% of people in the world that will start a business. That puts us in a different bracket. And the thing that I love about it is that what we do is we see a problem in the world, and we're like, I can fix that problem.
That's right.
And then we take this step, which goes away from the comfort that we know, the money coming in, and we go out into the world and we birth this baby of ours. And it's the same. I don't know if you've got children. My daughter's 22. We birth this baby. It's the same. It comes out and it's just a mess. And it's like, what the hell? This is all just a problem, and I can't sleep anymore, and I've got to change diapers, and I've got to do all this stuff. And slowly but surely, this baby grows up and then becomes a teenager. It can do things, and so many of us get stuck in the teenage years. We can't let it go. It becomes the entire thing that our life kind of revolves around. Yeah.
Most of us are not starting a solo business, especially if you're young, with an MBA. You don't have all that experience, and it's usually starting a small business. You're not starting it with partners or a bunch of employees right away. So it's tough.
Yeah. And we now go into a really different world with AI, because there's going to be a lot more solo entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're talking about the first £1 billion solo entrepreneur company is coming, and I can see it. Yeah. What's your experience been on the AI front? What's your experience been so far with AI?
I look at it like, and I explain this to a lot of my clients too, or all my clients. AI to me, it's another thing. It's the next thing. If you can demystify it a little bit, yes, it's very powerful. It's very technical. It can be very confusing as far as how to use it or can you even use it, that kind of thing. And so I try to simplify things as best I can. It's a new technology. There was at one point it was the printing press, and then it was telephones, and then it was like when TV first came out, there were people that felt, oh, we're going to go out of business because he can advertise on TV. There's always something. So it really is a matter of not trying to absorb all of it all at once, because there are people who can do great things with AI. And then there are other people like maybe you and I who we have our niche that we're fixated and focused on. And so you like simplified, okay, what can AI do for me? And there's a lot of resources now. In fact, I think you just came out with a book, right?
Yep,
So,
yep.
or you're about to, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just have to learn
I
from.
think it's that journey of mastery, isn't it? Yeah, you have to start using it and doing it. There's only 1.6% of the people, I'm quoting figures today, I don't know where this is coming from. 1.6% of the people in the world have actually got ChatGPT or Claude. It's that small, so you're still early. This concept for business owners, that's one of the things I teach quite a lot is the thing for business owners is fix the problem. Don't try and fix everything. Because we
Oh,
we get
absolutely.
so overwhelmed by, oh, look what it can do. And go and chase the shiny shit.
That's
Forget.
that's right. And that's the thing that a lot of people, small business owners, should know right up front is that it's a tool, and it's not, there's no magic button. It's not going to, you're not going to press a button and it's going to fix everything for you. It's just another tool, and you got to learn how to use it. That's really I think what a lot of people miss.
Yeah. Let's delve now into your book and what you do. Share some insights.
Yeah, sure. Some of the words you mentioned earlier touches on it. When most solopreneurs start out, how can we possibly all know everything, right? So we all have our strengths. And like you said, usually entrepreneurs start out with, they notice a hole that needs to be filled, right? There's a need and you feel that you can fulfill it, either because there's nobody in your area who is filling that need now, or you feel like you can fill it better or cheaper or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that you know all about financing. That doesn't mean you know all about computers. It doesn't mean you know all about marketing. There's so many things to make a business grow and become
Yeah.
stronger and be majorly profitable. And there is, I don't know if you've noticed this, but my standpoint, I've always noticed that there is it's not, I'm not saying anything negative. There is a bit of an ego thing with owning a business, because you can be very proud of being the business owner. If you're at a Chamber of Commerce mixer or a meeting or something, and somebody says, oh, what do you do? I'm the business owner. So sometimes it's hard to even admit to ourselves that there's an area that we're not good at. This is what prompted me to put together this book. Is throughout the years, I did this. I still do it. I still have to watch myself. And a lot of my clients, because most of them are solopreneurs, they, after getting to know them a little better over the years, they open up a little more and they're dealing with the same things, but they maybe don't have even a name for it. I have always called it the uncomfortable comfort zone, because when you're stuck like that, for whatever reason, you know what to expect by doing what you know best. So it may be working on the website, or posting a couple of dumb social media things, or whatever, cleaning the floors in the bathroom, taking the trash out, whatever it is that you keep yourself busy doing, but it's not the stuff you should be busy doing. That's why it's uncomfortable comfort zone, because deep down, you know that something's wrong and you know you need to fix it, and you just don't know how. You don't know where to start.
Yeah. I think my journey, my first company, I was 19, I think, and I was selling
Wow.
mushrooms door to door. I worked on a mushroom farm and I was like, taking them home, and people saying, bring me some mushrooms, bring me some mushrooms. And I was in South Africa, and I was 1,500 Rand a month, which was nothing.
Yeah.
Which is like
Wow.
175 pounds in today's money. Yeah.
Wow.
And I started taking these bags of mushrooms out, and I was like, okay, I can sell them for 6 Rand. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I took 20 out after work, and then I took 30 out. And eventually I was making 10,000 Rand a month, working 4 days a week for 5 hours a day. And that was my real birth into entrepreneurial. life. I just realized I couldn't go and do it. And then I tried to work selling door-to-door alarm systems and other stuff.
The fact that your mind works like that's what separates you. And like you said earlier, it's a fraction of a percentage of the people that it's owning a business, especially starting one. It's not for everybody. It's not for the weak. That's for sure.
Yeah, tenacity is the key word there. I think you have to be tenacious, and you have to have the
Absolutely.
vision. You have to really push forward and understand what you're doing,
Yep.
and believe in yourself. I love what
Yeah.
you said. I love what you said there, yeah, about that part of the journey. There's a big part I want to dig into now. There's two main points. Being an entrepreneur is lonely, right?
It is.
Lonely because you
It is.
start and you've got a circle of friends, right?
Yep.
And you start talking to your wife or your girlfriend. In the first three or four conversations, they're interested and they're excited. And then the eyes glaze over. And it's just, they don't understand. I think loneliness is such a big play.
Yeah. And it's something I mentioned in my book several times too, in different ways. As solopreneurs, one of the things that's missing is there's nobody to walk up behind you and put their hand on your shoulder and say, it's great that you're busy, but shouldn't you be working on this other thing over here? There's nobody to do that. We're our own boss, which
Yeah.
has its positives, it's got its benefits, but it's also got some drawbacks, like you said.
Delve into quite a lot is this: if he can do it, if he's 25 years old and he's making £1 million, why can't I do it?
Oh, yeah.
So then we go into the coachability piece. Yeah, skydive. Let me tell you a little story. I skydive, and I've done 2,500 skydives. And back in probably early 2000s, I went to a wind tunnel,
Okay.
the indoor wind tunnel, and I
Yeah.
bought 10 hours of wind tunnel time, 6,000.
Really?
Yeah. And it
Wow.
was £600 an hour. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure this stuff out because I was really driven to get it right. And I went in for 6 hours, right? There it was in this wind tunnel. And I just, then someone said to me, get a coach. And I'm like, no, I've already paid £600 an hour for this. I'm not going to pay another £200 for a coach an hour. And so a friend of mine took pity on me and he said, okay, I'm going to coach you for half an hour. Right? He was a coach. And he coached. In that half an hour, I learned more than I did in the 6 hours before. You can't see the label from inside the jar. You can't see what you're doing. You can't appreciate what you're doing. And why not look at somebody who's actually had the problems, understood the problems, and has a solution for it? And
Right.
that's part of this whole piece of he can do it, so I should be able to do it. You don't know
Right.
what you don't know. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me, or tell us how you started this part of your business, what you do day to day with people. Yeah, what does that look like?
Like I said, I'm a marketing guy. This book is just something that we
Yeah.
talked before the podcast that it's not something I'm expecting to make millions of dollars. It's really just, I'd like to help people with things that I've experienced and hopefully I can help them get out of their stuck place. But overall, I'm a marketing guy. And that, like I said earlier, it's a huge umbrella. So I'm consulting, I'm helping put together marketing plans and the whole kit and caboodle as far as the logos and the corporate identity and their materials and their website and video production. I do whatever people need.
And then you've got a good client base on that, and that's working well.
Do I have?
A good client base on that, and is that working
Oh,
well?
yeah. Yeah. There's always small business owners that need help. And
If you're in marketing, that's the place to be, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So there's always somebody who's stuck in one way or another and needs some help and starts to realize that they need that help.
What other lessons can you bring us from your book? What could be? I think you had 12 chapters in there.
And they're super, super short. It's easy read. It's not a book you have to read cover to cover by any stretch. One of the things that I've been telling people just to give people an idea of what the book's about, because it's not an answer book. It's not like you're going to read this and go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. It's not like that. You do have to come up with it on your own. It's your business. Every business is so different, like what it is, where it's located, and the owner. Everybody's different backgrounds, different experiences, different education. So I try to keep it more about experience. Some people will connect with chapters 2 and 6, and some will connect to the other chapters. It's more about finding awareness and putting a name to some things that maybe you never put a name to. So how I describe that is basically if you are walking down the street and somebody points at your feet and says, "Hey, you stepped in dog crap."
Yeah.
Hard to ignore that, right? So you're going to start looking for something to wipe your shoe off or a hose to squirt your shoe off. But the whole idea is that if you read this book and find things that you recognize in yourself, hopefully you don't go back to that uncomfortable comfort zone where you're pretending. I'm hoping that being aware of it, you can't ignore it. And you go, now that I know that's what it is, I've really got to figure out how I'm going to step out of that. That's
What's your biggest lesson from that?
My biggest what?
Lesson in the book.
One of the chapters that seems to be resonating the most with people, and it's certainly something that I still struggle with, even though I'm very aware of it, is that I always have asked business owners, if it's just a hypothetical, if your business if you had to step away from your business for 2 weeks, and I try not to make it morbid. So something like you have a vacation home or your parents' home out of town and the plumbing needs to be redone, the pipes burst or whatever, you have to be at what happens to your business? And most of the time, the answer is it stops or it's on hold or there's a sign out front that says be back in 2 weeks. If that's the case, technically in businesses all over the world, if they were actually being evaluated by a professional, you don't have a business, you created a job for yourself. That's it. Yeah. So that kind of puts people in the mindset, and I try and explain to clients that if you pretend like you're going to sell your business, sell it, franchise it, whatever, if you pretend that way, then you start to think that, oh, okay, I should probably have these kind of procedures. Like step one, somebody calls, what's the first thing you have to do? If you can set up your business so that somebody could walk in and learn it, or somebody you can train to do it, it really can change your business and can also help you change your life, loosen things up a bit and make it where, I don't know about you, but if I'm busy, it's so difficult to get me to the gym because it's work. I got to do the work. So taking time out for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, for yourself especially, it's really a good thing to do. So that's probably one of the biggest lessons.
For sure. I had the same situation in 2019. I have 3 IT companies, and somebody came up and offered to buy them. So I was like, great, I can sell them. And they came up with a nice big number and then said, you've got to stay here for 3 years.
Ah.
That's not the deal. I don't want to do that.
Yep.
I help slightly bigger business owners because at that stage, there's a book called Traction, Gino Wickman, and he talks, I took that same 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 2 companies. I acquired the 3rd company, and then for the last 7 years, I've worked 5 hours a week on those companies, which lets me go and do other things.
Oh, so you actually learned.
Yeah. So if people want to work with you, if people want to understand a bit more about you, how do they get hold of you?
A great way to, because we're talking about the uncomfortable comfort zone, I did a little 1-pager website for the book, and it gives people the idea, here's some information to see if this book's for you. And so the first chapter is on there, audio and visual. And also the book is available in Spanish on Audible audiobook, and I can be reached that website as well. You can get to it a couple of ways, uncomfortablecomfortzone.com, or the quicker way is by its initials. So it's uczbook.com. Those are the two. That's the way to get to there and get to me.
Great. I will share that in the comments. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been
great. Thank you very much for having me on.
No worries. Ciao. Thanks for listening to Power Movers, the podcast from All the Power, where our mission is to help business owners reclaim their time, reset their energy, and live the life they love. If this episode sparked something for you, your next step is simple. Take the fit check at allthepower.co.uk. It's a short clarity tool that helps you see where you are, what's getting in the way, and what might be possible if you have the right system. When you're ready, come and join the tribe. Power Movers start with our signature framework called Elevate 360, a system built to help you escape survival mode, create structure, and move forward with power. Just remember, everything we share here is based on real stories, experience, and frameworks. It's not personal business advice. Always speak to a coach or advisor before making big decisions. Because in the end, it's about more than business. It's about building a life that you actually love. I'm Roy Castleman, and I'll see you in the next episode.